James Monroe 1817 to 1825, early life and education. Birth: James Monroe was born on April 28, 1758 in Westmoreland County, Virginia. Education: he attended the College of William and Mary but left in 1776 to join the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. Pre-presidency career: military service. Monroe served with distinction in the Continental Army, participating in key battles such as Trenton and Monmouth. He was wounded at the Battle of Trenton. Law and politics. After the war, Monroe studied law under Thomas Jefferson. He began his political career as a delegate to the Continental Congress 1783 to 1786. Governor of Virginia. Monroe served as governor of Virginia from 1799 to 1802 and briefly in 1811. Diplomatic roles: Monroe held several important diplomatic posts, including minister to France, Britain. He played a crucial role in negotiating the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. Secretary of State and War. Under President James Madison, Monroe served as Secretary of State 1811 to 1817 and briefly as Secretary of War during the War of 1812. Presidency 1817 to 1825. Election: Monroe was elected the 5th President of the United States in 1816, succeeding James Madison. He was re-elected in 1820 with almost unanimous support, reflecting his popularity. Domestic affairs: era of good feelings. Monroe's presidency is often referred to as the era of good feelings due to the decline of partisan political conflict and a sense of national unity following the War of 1812. Economic development: Monroe supported the American system, which advocated for a strong role of the federal government in fostering economic growth through internal improvements, infrastructure, a national bank, and protective tariffs. Panic of 1819. The country faced its first major economic crisis during Monroe's presidency, leading to widespread financial hardship and a push for economic reforms. Foreign affairs: Monroe Doctrine. In 1823, Monroe articulated the Monroe Doctrine, which declared that the Western Hemisphere was off limits to new European colonization and that any interference in the Americas would be seen as an act of aggression. This doctrine became a cornerstone of American foreign policy. Adams-Onis Treaty. In 1819, Monroe's administration negotiated the Adams-Onis Treaty with Spain, which ceded Florida to the United States and defined the boundary between the U.S. and New Spain, now Mexico. Missouri Compromise. Monroe oversaw the Missouri Compromise of 1820, which admitted Missouri as a slave state and Maine as a free state, maintaining the balance between free and slave states in the Senate. It also prohibited slavery north of the 3,630 parallel in the Louisiana Territory. Post-presidency, retirement. After leaving office in 1825, Monroe retired to his estate, Oak Hill, in Virginia. He faced financial difficulties in his later years, selling off much of his property. Public service. Monroe continued to be involved in public affairs, serving as a regent of the University of Virginia and attending the Virginia Constitutional Convention of 1829 to 1830. Death. Monroe died on July 4, 1831, in New York City. He was the 3rd president to die on Independence Day, following Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. Legacy. National unity. Monroe is remembered for presiding over a period of relative political harmony and national unity. His presidency saw significant territorial expansion and economic development. Foreign policy. The Monroe Doctrine had a long-lasting impact on American foreign policy, asserting U.S. influence in the Western Hemisphere and shaping the nation's interactions with European powers. Slavery and expansion. Monroe's tenure highlighted the growing sectional tensions over slavery, as exemplified by the Missouri Compromise, which attempted to balance the interests of free and slave states. James Monroe's presidency was marked by efforts to foster national unity and economic growth while navigating significant foreign policy challenges and sectional tensions over slavery. His legacy includes the Monroe Doctrine, a defining element of U.S. foreign policy.